Let's talk about the journey. Like, everybody knows that a journey is taking place. Like, people feel as though their journey begins when they make a decision. But the fact is, we've always been on a journey. Let me explain. So originally, I'm from the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, and I moved to the United States, the mainland, of course, back in 1996 when I went for college. All right. I left my parents, started my journey of my higher education, going to school in Maryland. Now, there were times when I was in Maryland in school and I had no clue who I was. I was clueless, and I literally felt as though I was a chameleon of sorts. You know, I was always adapting to situations, people, moments. And I really didn't know who I was for that entire period of time. When I moved from Maryland down to Florida, Central Florida, that is, back in 2001, there was no difference. I got out of school. I was trying to find me a job. I was about 21, 22 years old. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that there were certain things that I was supposed to do. Your parents probably said the same thing to you. You got to go to school, you got to get out, find a job, find someone, get married, and then get a house and kids. And I was lost. And you might be finding yourself lost at this very moment. Here's the deal. Your journey isn't beginning now. You've been on that journey. And it's affecting everything that you're doing to this very day. The fact that you've left school and you're trying to figure out what's next, that happened because something happened in your past that has you kind of like flustered. The journey. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey, how I got started. Maybe you're interested. Maybe it'll help. I don't know. You tell me. But when I got my first job out of college, I remember calling home to my mother and saying, Yo, I'm making $35,000 a year. I've made it. She smiled. She's like, oh yeah, that's great, son. Are you working in the field in which you went to college? And I was like, no. I don't like computers. But you went to college for computers, son. The journey, right? Had no interest in that stuff. But I worked my tail off. And I was proud. My mother was proud. And then I got to a point where I was miserable. I got to that point when I was miserable, and I remember waking up every morning with tears like running down my eyes onto my pillow. And I would look at my wife and I'd ask her, like, yo, is this what life is really about? Like, this is it? We didn't have any kids at the time. And it was like, this is tough. And my wife, she was going through the same thing for herself. She's waking up, didn't want to go into work. Now, before I go further, I don't want you to think that every person who wakes up this way needs to quit their job and become an entrepreneur, because clearly that's not for everybody. This stuff is hard. But we'll get back to that. For me, I grew up in a household where my father was a business owner and my mother was an educator. So I fell down into that valley where I loved to learn about business. So naturally for me, I gravitated in that direction. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. Remember? I was lost, a chameleon. And I found myself just like all around the place, looking at everybody and just like, can I do that? Can I do this? I didn't have an interest. Are you there? Are you in that kind of space where like you want to do something different, but you don't know what you're interested in? I was there. Here's the crazy thing. Because I was in that space and because I was so miserable, I found myself being open to anything. And in that vulnerable state, that could be pretty scary. But I had a supportive cast. I had a supportive wife. I had some supportive friends. And they were willing to support me on whatever journey I was going to go on. I became a janitor. I know. It sounds crazy. A janitor? Like, you went to school, dude. You got your degree. $35,000 job. A janitor? You'll learn more about that story at some point. But for right now, I became a janitor. That's what I want you to know. And I don't want you to look at me any differently, because I'm the same guy that you know. But the janitor is what helped me to start the second phase of my journey. You see, we can go through phases. It's not like it's just one. It's kind of like, think of it like playing a sport, football, basketball. You come in with a game plan and then you realize like life isn't what you thought it was. And then you have to make adjustments at halftime. So you go into the third quarter. I was going into the second phase of life for myself. But becoming a janitor was one of the most humbling things that I've gone through. And it was important. It was important for me as a person. It was important for me to see the people around me, how they supported me or didn't. It was important for me to have that kind of relationship with my mother, who had just helped me get through college to become a janitor. The story behind that is crazy, but it was my journey. And you're on yours also, like right now. It may not look, sexy to everybody that watches and pays attention, but it's your journey. And how much time do you think you're going to spend trying to please people and please what their perceptions of you versus doing something probably crazy so that you can find joy and satisfaction and fulfillment in your day? That's what the journey is about. At least that's what it was for me. Again, I don't know what it is for you, but I'm kind of like poking you a little bit. Hitting you with some body shots because I want you to think. I want you to pay attention to what's going on around you, how you feel on the inside. A lot of times we make decisions based on how we feel, but I want you to start paying attention to like how your body is responding as you're hearing what I'm sharing with you, because that's critical. It's critical to what you're going to do next. And I'm sharing this with you now because I didn't have that awareness or that knowledge back then. And I fought through it. I fought through the feelings of, this is a stupid idea, Garen. Don't do it. Don't do it. How is your wife going to feel standing next to you, the janitor? But again, I wanted to push myself down into that space to see how I felt, to see if I was strong enough to withstand what was coming at me to take the jump into entrepreneurship. Remember, I told you earlier, entrepreneurship is hard by itself. So I'm not telling you to quit your job. So don't look at me. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm just asking you to pay attention to what's going on around you, how you feel, what your body is doing. We'll talk later. Just pay attention. Let's see what happens, But for me, becoming that janitor, it put me in a space where I was able to find joy. You want me to explain, don't you? Okay. Take it easy. When I was working in that corporate job, I found myself asking myself a few questions. Garen, what do you like to do? I love people. I love to learn. I like business. Okay, Garen, you love people, you love to learn, you love business. So what? That's all I had. And with that knowledge, those three things, I just continued living, continued going out with my wife and paying attention. The question that I was trying to answer was, well, how is this going to make sense? And I was patient with myself. I was patient with myself despite I was frustrated. Because here's the deal. If I'm frustrated and I am making erratic decisions, it's not going to help. So I was patient. And even as I'm telling you this, I'm reliving this in my mind. So if you see me breathing kind of weird, this was real for me, man. This was real. I was paying attention to what was going on. And I was asking myself those questions. Garen, you love people. You love business. You love to learn. Just start looking. And I found a guy while taking my wife out to dinner. I've shared this story before, but I found a guy. I paid attention to a guy who was wiping down the table, cleaning this table, right? And I'm standing there with my wife, and I want to just say thank you, natural kindness. Wanted to say thank you to the guy. And I said, sir, thank you. He's looking at me like, well, why did you ask me? Why did you tell me thank you? And I said, yo, you didn't just wipe down the table, dude. You prepared a place for my wife and I'd have dinner. Like, that's like, thank you. And the guy smiled and took off to another table and started wiping it down and started like he was feeling himself, man. Like he just had like a renewed spirit within him. And I just stood there with my wife and I said, yo, I think I want to do that again. I like people. I like to learn. I like business. Pay attention, Garrett. Pay attention. You saw what just happened? Pay attention. And just going through that whole process of paying attention helped me to see maybe I can help more people like him. So that answered one question. I like people. Okay. How can I learn about business? Like, what else can I do? And with me going ahead and taking the step and talking to my wife and saying, maybe I could do. So I had a friend of mine who was also cleaning, like gyms around town. So I decided to just work with him, help him out so he can get home to his family early. And while doing that, I'm like, I could do this. This is business. So I like people. This is business. You know what I'm saying? So as I continued to pay attention, all of a sudden, the pockets that I was trying to get filled were being filled with information. This is what I'm talking to you about, paying attention. Yo, listen, let me tell you this. Even if you're standing right or you're sitting right now at your desk, like I want you to just like pop your head up and look around. Look around you. And then sit back down. I just want you to capture like what's going on. Because you don't know when one of those questions, those buckets that you're asking is going to be filled. But that's what I did. As I continued to take steps like that, the natural thing was, Garen, you should be a janitor. And trust me, it blew my mind. It wasn't something that my mother would approve of, at least right away. But it blew my mind that this is what was coming to me. Now the question is, did I have the courage to take the step? Again, it wasn't something sexy, but it was answering the questions that I had in my mind. And you got to get to the point where you trust yourself, especially when you've put in the work, you've paused, you've slowed down, and you have to trust yourself, trust your gut. And if it makes sense to your picture, to your journey, then like, yo, who am I to tell you anything differently? You with me? So I did it. I quit. And I became a janitor. I know you want me to fill in the blanks, but that's what this podcast is about. This is what this whole experience is going to be about. Filling in the blanks. Because here's the deal. Sometimes you might see someone that you admire, on YouTube, on TV, or what have you. And then you might start saying to yourself, I want to be like them. Like, I want that. But you don't know what happened in between to get them there. So you might take the jump, the leap of faith, as people say. And then all of a sudden you're looking at all the stuff that's going on in between, and you don't even know what to do. We're going to show you what to do. That's what we're about. I don't want to fill you in with all the gaps right now because, I don't know, it could deter you or it could encourage you. But I want you to be patient. One of the first things that I asked you to do today was to just pop your head up, look around, and see what's happening around you. Yeah. See what's, just pay attention. That's it. Don't do anything. I'm not asking you to fix anything. I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm not asking you to do anything. Go home and tell your wife, your spouse, your significant other, anything. Just pay attention. Yeah? You could do that. And when you do, take some notes. They might seem like random notes right now. Like, I saw this. And when you look at it just in its natural state, you might say, like, this makes no sense. Trust me. Just write it down and be patient. My belief is we've all been created to do something. And when we rush the process, we miss out on the opportunities that we were supposed to learn from. And if you believe that we're all created to do something like of great magnitude, then you'll start respecting everything that's happening around you. Because my belief is the world gifts us opportunity. I'm not saying it gives us opportunity. I said it gifts, like a present. And if you're having a problem understanding me, remember I'm from the islands, okay? So the accent sometimes comes out. But I believe that the world gifts us opportunities, and when we start paying attention to those gifts, we realize like, yo, thank you. Remember the guy in the restaurant? He was just doing his job. He didn't know that I was searching. But by him showing up, doing his job, being deliberate, being intentional, being disciplined, I was able to have a moment that changed my life. Watch that moment that's out there waiting to change your life. And if we're busy just looking down at our phones all the time, looking at all the people that we admire, the people on Facebook and Instagram, wanting, lusting, the whole nine, we're missing out. We're missing out on an opportunity, man. And the only reason why I feel so passionate about this is because this is my selfish desire. I actually want to be in the room with you when you're at your very best. And I'm not saying that I'm going to help you to get there totally. Like, I'm just a piece to the puzzle. I know my role. Somebody earlier today told me I needed to stay in my lane. I'm staying in it. We all have a potential to do some awesome things. And I want to be in the room with you when you're on fire. And again, it may not all come like right now, but the fact is, it's coming. And because you're listening to us and taking a look at us, no matter the avenue that you are, I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm looking you dead in your eye. It's coming. It's coming. And I want to be able to be around. Yo, there's so many people that are dependent on the future you. They're hoping that you'll stay the course, stay focused, stay on the journey. Because one day, I'll need to call you. If somebody asks me for help and I can't provide it, I want to be able to pick up my phone and say, you know what? Let me call up this guy. Let me call up that girl. Help them. And imagine the amount of joy that will bring to you. I've got friends of mine who came to me, early in the game, and they would ask me, Garen, hey, would you mind hiring me? And I would look at them and see all the potential that they had. And I actually told them no. I was like, I don't want you to work for me. I want to work alongside you one day. And would you know that this morning, one of my buddies, one of my mentees, he called me up and he says, hey, Garen, can you come down by my job? I came down and he's talking to me about all the things that he's doing. He's talking to me about the money that he's making, the money that he has in his savings. And I promise you, it was probably 7 years ago where this brother didn't even want to take a 25-cent raise because he felt that he would not get government assistance. And here he is, several years later, running things, just going at it. All I can do is hug him. That's all I can do because I'm so excited. And I get to hang out with him. He calls me to tell me to come and hang out with him. For me, all day long. I'll do it with him. I'll do it with you. But it first starts with you respecting your journey. Yeah. Look at the keyboard. I hear you. Look at the monitor. I feel you. Yeah. It's your journey. It's our journey. I want to be a part of it. And by you taking the time today to take a listen, the journey begins. A second phase. We're off to some amazing things. So it doesn't matter if you're at your job listening to me, or if you're in your car, you're walking the dogs, taking the kids to school, it doesn't matter. I want you to commit to this journey. Who knows how long I'm going to be doing this? I'm here for you, like literally. I'm on this new journey for you. Strangely enough, people think as though, I don't know a lot. I can't gift anything to anyone else. I can't add value. With what little I know, with the experience that I have, I'm taking the time to pause, pivot, and share this with you because I believe that you're ready. I believe that you're willing, that you're able, that you're capable of taking the next steps. No matter where we meet on this journey, I want you to share. Give me some feedback, man. Let me know if this is helping, if this works, if this benefits you. I want to hear your story in one way, shape, or form. Who knows? Maybe we might be talking across the table. There's an opportunity for you to grow, for you to shine. And if no one else believes in you, and there are people who do, I do. Because I know how hard it was, how difficult it has been, and how difficult it's going to be. And I'm still committed. Even this very moment, I'm committed. So share with me your commitment so we can empower each other together and do this thing. I'm gonna give you a quick recap because I don't want you to forget. And you don't have to press rewind if you don't have to. All I'm asking you to do first is just pop your head up. Look around you. Just pay attention. Put the phone in your pocket. Pay attention just for a moment. Write it down. And let's see what happens next. Your journey begins. See you next time. Oh, yeah.